Okay, in order to finish out our notes page, we're going to do these last two examples together. So these two examples, we've done an example of adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. Now we have our last two examples are involving fractions. So to get rid of a fraction or undo a fraction, we have to multiply by the reciprocal on both sides, which means we have to flip over the fraction. So if we look here at this first equation, 1/3 x equals 10, we need to think about 1/3 x is the same as x over 3, right? So it's the same as dividing x by 3. Sometimes I'll see it written this way, and sometimes I'll see it written this way. But the reciprocal of 1/3 is 3 over 1, which is just 3 whole, right? So I need to multiply both sides by 3. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to show underneath here. I'm going to show a multiply using the little star by 3. And I'm going to do the same thing underneath the 10. Whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other side. So when I multiply 1/3 by 3 over here, these are going to cancel out because 3 times a third is just 3/3. So this 1 divided by 3 and times 3 kind of undo each other. So 3/3 is the same as 1, which is 1x, so I'm getting the x by itself. So I'm going to show that these two things cancel out by drawing a line through them. So this 1/3 and this times 3 cancel each other out. And so what I'm left with is just 1x on this left side of our equation. And that 1x is going to be equal to what I get on this side when I do 10 times 3, which is 30. So x equals 30 is my solution for this equation. So it is 1/3. I just have to remember when I flip that over, it becomes 3 over 1, which because that's a nice fraction and it's equal to 1 whole, I can just times 3 on both sides. Times 3 cancels out, divided by 3, and then times 3 for 10 gives me 30. So I'm going to do a similar idea in the next one, but this time my fraction looks a little bit different. So in this case, I have 2/5 k equals 12, and so 2/5 is my coefficient. It's not a nice one that when I flip it over, it makes a whole number. The reciprocal of 2/5 is 5/2. So when I take the reciprocal of 5/2, or sorry, 2/5 is 5/2, that means I have to multiply both sides by 5/2. And so I'm just going to put over here a times 5/2, so 5/2. And then on this side, I'm going to do the same thing. Now, for those of you that are like a little more visual learners, I put this reminder here on the side for us. We'll use that in a second. But over here, 2/5 times 5/2 is going to equal 10 over 10, which is 1 whole. So again, just like before, this 2/5 and this 5/2, they're going to cancel each other out. That's the whole purpose of what I'm doing here is I'm multiplying by a number that's going to divide out and cancel out to give me just 1k. So on this side of the equation, I'm going to have 1k, or just k, equals. And then on the right side of the equation, I'm going to have to do 12 times 5/2. So that's where this part over here is going to come in handy. So 12 times 5/2 is really 12 over 1 times 5 over 2. And when I multiply fractions, I just do numerator times numerator. So 12 times 5 is 60. Denominator times denominator. 1 times 2 is 2. So my answer would be 60 halves, or 60 over 2. So k is going to be equal to 60 over 2. So I did 12 times 5/2, and I got 60 over 2. Now 60 over 2 is just a division problem. So 60 divided by 2 is 30. So k is going to equal to 30. Right, and so that is our last problem involving fractions and how to solve these one-step equations. So make sure you have it in your notes and you know how to use the inverse operations to solve it and how to show your work. And now you can go ahead and start working on your practice. Thanks for watching.